Oh, we are live, baby. Let me throw an intro in there real quick.
Look, grind hard, well done, sir, and welcome to the freaking Well Show.
What's going on, guys? Roma the Roamer here. I'm here with Eric and Sebastian, Amazon Lit. You guys have gotten a lot of followers recently on Instagram, I feel like. I looked at your page recently, and it was like, you guys are blowing up. You guys are already big, but
we're going heavy interacting with, we have this lovely woman who works with us, Haley. She interacts with the community, and we do a lot of interacting.
I need her to help me out because you guys went from like 20,000 to 38,000. You guys probably like 40,000 now. It's crazy. But anyway, if you guys don't know who these guys are, they put up crazy sales numbers every month. You guys, your biggest month's like 2 million or more than that. But I bet now's your biggest month, right? You guys have been crushing it lately.
Yeah. Now it's definitely our biggest month.
Yeah. And for those of you watching this in the future, it's coronavirus season.
Yeah.
And I guess you guys have a lot of home goods that you guys are selling that are just flying off the shelves now.
Yeah, well, we've always had them, but now we're procuring more of the essentials. We're procuring more of the essentials now. So, we're able to provide a service to everyone who needs it, that doesn't want to leave their homes, doesn't want to wait on those. We're procuring more of the essentials. Yes.
Yes, hearing a little bit of echo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just turned it off.
Okay.
Okay. So, we're able to provide for the community, and and we've just been really going hard trying to open up, 6 days a week, while keeping distance, while sanitizing, trying to keep, our workers safe. And it's really a fine line when we're in this pandemic now, and trying to provide for the community, but also make sure that our community, our little nest here of workers, is safe.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because most businesses right now are doing like absolutely terrible. But then there's a select few, and it seems like a lot of the wholesale guys are doing pretty good, at least the ones that have home goods.
Yeah. We're definitely, this is our best month ever. We're at like, I think 3.5 million almost. So we're really ramping up. But like Sebastian said, we had to really step it up on our end, and take initiative, make sure everybody first, most importantly, is safe, and then second, we have enough products to keep everybody busy, because the fear is not coming to work anymore, not able to have a job, which a lot of people don't, millions, tens of millions.
So how are you guys making sure that, and I'm not trying to be like, investigating your operation, but how are you guys making sure, like with all these new rules coming out, and just even my employees are freaking out right now. All my employees work from home. We get inventory shipped directly to them, and they just work from the living room, but they're like opening stuff up, and they know it's been touched by another person within like a week. So there might still be something on it. How are you guys dealing with that just in the warehouse?
Well, we keep having meetings with them and assuring them, that we're doing
6 foot apart meetings, I hope.
Yeah, we're
distance meetings.
We're separated, and at the same token, every hour, 55 to the hour, we're stopping everything. We're cleaning our stations, sanitizing them. We have disinfectants.
Everyone, you guys like taking temperatures at all or anything like that?
No, everyone has masks. Everyone has gloves. But it's no questions asked. Anyone doesn't feel good, they go home and stay home. If anyone,
have you guys been hiring during this time too? I imagine you have to.
Yeah, we've been bringing on new associates. Some of our regulars are staying home. Some are scared. Others just maybe didn't feel well, and so right away, if they say, even they got a scratchy throat, we suggest that they stay home. There's no reason for them to come in and be a liability for themselves and others.
Gotcha. How are you guys reacting to this personally? Like, I know obviously you have to take the leadership position running a business, but personally, how much is this affecting you guys? Because I've seen on Instagram, at least, and Facebook, there's a couple different people. There's some people that are like, oh, it's gonna be over pretty soon. Everyone's overreacting. The media's blown it out of proportion. And then there's the people that are like, holy shit, like this is real. like we're all going to die. Where you guys stand personally, not from like a leadership position, because from a leadership position, you got to do what you got to do. But personally, what are you guys thinking about this?
Yeah, I would say I'm in the middle of those two. You know, I'm definitely not freaking out, and I'm definitely not like this doesn't exist. This is a hoax, or like this is the government created this. Like it's real, it's happening, and I'm just taking the necessary precautions. I've always been a real positive person, and so like I just keep pushing forward every day. You know, I don't live with any little kids or anyone who's elderly, so they have compromised immune system. So that's a plus. You know, I'm just living life as usual, you know, and keeping my ear tuned to the streets to make sure if there's any new news that I'm aware of it.
Yeah, really.
Kids would be tough right now. I'd be freaking out if I had kids.
Yeah, I have children, so
Okay.
you know, I mean, I'm coming home and I'm taking off all of my clothes as soon as I get home. And Eric and we're working like 16, 18-hour days right now for the past 2 weeks. You know, 6 days a week, and then Sunday is a partial day just to kind of keep up with the demand. But when I do come home, I'm taking everything off. I'm going right into the shower. I'm disinfecting. There's Lysol right there where I come in, and then I'm just cleaning myself and just being really conscious, kind of distancing myself from my family, and my wife's in agreement with that. And at the same token as Eric, I'm a more optimistic person, so I like to look at it from the perspective of what's the good out of all of this, and the good out of all of this is it's making a lot of it's making the world slow down. We're probably 3-4 times busier, but the rest of the world is slowing down and having an opportunity to really appreciate all the things that we do have, right? I mean, these essential needs that people are looking for right now, they wouldn't think twice about. Nobody would think twice about Dial soap or Wet Ones or Lysol and things like that, just regular everyday goods that we're able to obtain, and now we're struggling with it, and we could see what disadvantaged people deal with on a daily basis. So, that's like my spiritual side of it, looking at that. And I read something today which said it doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, famous. This affects everyone because it reminds us all that we're equal.
Yeah, it's making people look differently at their lives for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are getting tested right now. Amazon's getting tested in terms of just being overloaded, but there's a lot of people who are being tested by having nothing right now. Business is just being shut down. I know my mind's wandered a couple times. Like I'm like, dang, I should have invested in home goods. Like I've thought about that a couple times, or just like I've thought about business models that are pandemic proof. Have you guys been thinking in terms of diversification, like any differently over the last couple of weeks? Is this making you think different about how you're going to build your wholesale business in the future?
I don't think so. I mean, if anything, it just reminds us of the benefits of diversifying, right?
Right.
Versus having a one-legged table versus having multiple legs under that table. So if one leg goes out, which I mean, household supplies and essentials aren't the only products we sell in. We sell in apparel, we sell in electronics, toys, games, we sell in sneakers. So, all those parts of the business are hurt, but because we had already procured with a lot of suppliers the supplies that we're currently carrying, we're able to provide them. And able to grow, and kind of it just allows us to be agile, to kind of just switch. So whatever happens, we could kind of conform to that. That's what we've always been about, I think, is just of being able to quickly diversify, switch, depending on where the environment takes us. And you have to in Amazon,
Yeah, I think diversification is so huge.
Right.
I interviewed a wholesale guy last night, and he was talking about how he had 15 different Amazon accounts.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds stressful.
That sounds horrible. But it works for him. That works. We have one, but we're very on top of our account.
You guys have a rep. I was telling him about you guys. I was like, you guys actually can pick up the phone and talk to someone from Amazon, right?
Yes and no. It's not that simple. You can email somebody, and they could be quick to respond. But yes, you can get some more inside information and stuff like that. But you still have to be on top of everything, dotting your I's, crossing your T's to ensure that you're doing the next right thing. And as long as we're staying vigilant and paying attention to terms of services, any changes to the guidelines, all of our ASINs in our catalog, we'll be okay.
Yeah, you guys are providing a lot of value in the sense that you're bringing Amazon deals. Like you're establishing a relationship with the distributor, and then you're bringing that to Amazon. That's like another layer of value that resellers don't really bring. What we bring to the table for Amazon is we bring like rare stuff. We'll bring like rare books, but nobody gives a shit about rare books during a pandemic.
Yeah, most of the time there isn't a pandemic, so it works.
So it makes perfect sense.
This too shall pass. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But just wholesale. I was talking to the guy last night. Wholesale. The private label guys knock wholesale for not being your own brand. You don't have your own brand with wholesale, but I was explaining to him you kind of do. Like you have your brand with the suppliers. You have your brand. Not really with Amazon. You don't have a brand with Amazon, but you have your brand with the supplier. And then we're talking about personal brands. You guys have Amazon Lit. That's something a lot of people don't do, but a lot of resellers are doing that. And I think the reason why resellers are doing the personal brand thing is selling on Amazon. They strip your ability to have your own brand. So I've sold thousands of books on Amazon. Out of all those customers, nobody knows who I am.
Yeah.
I have no reputation with those customers. I don't have a customer list. I can't go back and sell to them again. It's gone. So we have this proclivity as resellers on Instagram with Gary V, putting all this shit out about, recording and documenting your journey. We have this proclivity to making your own brand because it's something real. It's something tangible. And I've always heard from private label guys that wholesale doesn't really have that. But the deeper I dig into it, the more I find that you guys do have a brand because you have these connections with the suppliers that in and of itself has so much value. And what he was doing was he was selling in different countries. So he would go to South America. He had presence in Mexico as well. So he would take the brand relationship that he had in America to Colombia down in South America. So I just thought that was super interesting because as a reseller, we have brands when it comes to Instagram. We have brands when it comes to, if you're fortunate enough to actually be working with libraries and thrift stores and colleges. But if you're just on the level of cherry picking, that's kind of stripped of you. So yeah, kudos to you guys for having that brand.
Absolutely. We value that brand. When we go to trade shows, like we know a lot of the people there. We joke sometimes, like we run down the aisles, high fiving everybody, like just, like it's, and it didn't happen overnight. It's taken years to.
What do they know you guys as? Like, how do you brand yourself to them? Is it Amazon Lit still, or?
Yeah, we're the consumer, so we're their consumer. For some of these suppliers, we they work with big box retail stores and things of that nature, which are buying at larger volume. But some of the products we purchase, they tell us no one even comes close to, and so we help them move certain name brand products that the other stores aren't even buying close to what we sell. So they know they could, and they also know they could come to us if they need to move something quickly. If they get too much of a product or something they need to just move out of their warehouse, that's when they could come to us with a pretty good price, and we can move it for them because Amazon provides that volume, which some of those big box stores, they just have a certain amount, and it doesn't matter what price it's at, they're going to move that certain volume throughout the month or the year.
Do you guys do any wholesale yourself as far as wholesaling to other sellers?
Yeah. This week we did about almost 30K in wholesale.
Nice.
So pumping out, products, essentials to other people. Some of those customers take them to Amazon. Others take them to their storefronts, their brick and mortars.
Gotcha.
There's definitely some options.
How much of that was a result of the Amazon Lit brand?
And that's where it came from. That's
Yeah.
where we,
That's awesome.
that's where we grew it out of.
That's so cool.
And just, and we're really, I mean, I know a lot of sellers want to categorize themselves as what they are, but we like to stress that we're an Amazon business. So we're a business, and that means we are wholesale. That means we are private label. We have over 200 listings that are private label. We have three private label brands, a fourth on the way. And we continue to grow that part too. And that's part of being a business that diversifies, and we have to be ready for any situation.
How did you learn the private label side of things?
I dove into it. I actually almost did private label before I did wholesale. However, I decided to go wholesale because it was a quicker way to turn money and to get cash flow, and I had a little bit of it at the beginning. But it's like anything else. You kind of just dive in, you learn, you become passionate. Eric and I could say, are pretty obsessive people. So when we have our mind on something, we stick to it day in and day out.
I just want to touch on Winnie's comment real quick. He said everyone needs a Greg.
Yeah, Greg is still here right now. In the warehouse taking care of returns. So amazing. He does not need to be here. I'm like, Greg, what are you doing? He said, I just want to get done with some returns. And in 2 of the busiest weeks we've had, this guy's still down here, still hustling. So everyone does need a Greg.
Everyone needs a Greg.
Eat Sleep Amazon says, cool glasses, Romer. Appreciate that. Sweet. Yeah, I didn't have that comments option opened. So yeah, guys, ask questions if you guys have questions for these guys. We got these guys for a little while right now. I had another question about branding, I think. I forgot what it was though.
Sure. Hey, Pecan Street, what's going on?
Pecan Street's in here?
Yeah, remember those cookies?
She makes some great cookies.
Great cookies.
I ate them all the way home. I didn't even get to show anybody.
She's good at branding. She's hopping in all these live feeds. Yeah. She's putting shout outs left and right.
Yeah. How's that book course moving along for you?
The book, it's been slow.
Yeah,
it's been slow, man. That's what I was about to get at. I think it was something. I mean, this was on my mind earlier. Just, do you guys have a course yet? I remember last time I interviewed you, you guys said you were going to drop a course in 2020.
May.
Okay.
We've been working on it for almost 2 years, just putting together. And we don't even like to call it a course. It's just a fully in-depth program. I mean, because it's so much more than just, it doesn't have what a lot of courses have, which is kind of just these snippets with the screenshot in front of it. What we're doing is we're actually sharing our Amazon Seller Central account with you and you through video. We have interviews with some of our staff member and some specialists across the country who specialized for years in Amazon, whether it's here, whether it's internationally. And so we're going to be providing all of that in one place. We're excited about it. Like I said, we're obsessed about stuff. So this is something that I've actually wanted to drop now for a couple months, but Eric's like, no, we need to tweak it more. We need to perfect it more.
Dude, I know exactly what you guys mean. I've been dealing with the same thing. I keep saying I'm going to release my course. And I look at stuff and I'm like, no, I want it to be this way. The thing is, though, after you guys release the course, you'll get feedback from people. And if they're like, I didn't understand this section at all, you can go back, reshoot it, and make it perfect. But it's never going to be perfect. So just realize
it will definitely never be perfect. It will never drop if it was. I'd be editing videos for the next 6 years,
So you're the one editing them?
Well, we also have Haley editing as well. So but we go. It's a problem. I have control issues. So Eric will tell me leave it for Haley. I'm like, well, I just want to do this one thing, and then next thing I know, I've edited the whole video.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I will say, say it again.
I think because you want it to be perfect. It's your
right.
It's yours. You vested.
I'm sure you guys use a plethora of virtual assistants for your private label business, right?
A lot of our private label is done in house. I mean,
do you guys use any virtual assistants?
We have a couple.
They just data, really.
Yeah, it's for data sorting and for some invoice and some booking, things like that.
And really, when it comes to editing videos, like as far as what to cut out, what we're saying and what we're not saying, I wouldn't want anybody else doing that because no one understands the business like that.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure if it was. Yeah, I know what you mean when it comes to that kind of stuff because I have the same problem. Like with this interview right here, which will be really cool, is after it's published, we could chop it up and have little Instagram pieces of content.
Yeah.
My video guy, he's awesome. He makes the best thumbnails ever. He's really good at cutting and editing certain things. But if I'm like, grab like the coolest thing we said and make a 30-second clip on Instagram, he's going to have no idea. He's going to grab like the stupidest thing. He's going to grab like the portion where you guys pointed out my glasses. And that's going to be it. I'm gonna be like, dude, we got to talk. So, but when I just shot a 7-day challenge course and I do that intentionally where I will just, I'll do one takes. I'll just do a one take and he cuts the beginning and the end and he adds an intro. So little things like that I don't want to do myself, but I know what you guys are talking about when it comes to editing the things that if you're going to like cut lots of portions out the middle, they got to be the right portions that you're cutting out.
100%.
It's just not my style to cut out the middle because that's just like a whole nother level of editing right there. You either have to have someone on your team that knows exactly what to cut out or you're doing it yourself. I feel like there's really no in between.
No. And it would be tough to have someone else do it. We'd have to share with them 14 years of Amazon selling experience, There's like no way. It would be impossible.
So how I'm just curious, how are most of the videos formatted? Is it you sitting down with a whiteboard? How many of them are you? How many of them are Sebastian? How'd that work?
Well, we kind of handled it like we handle our Amazon account. I think there's a lot of diversity. So we said from the beginning we wanted to educate, but we also wanted to entertain. So there's going to be little, funny snippets and things like that, kind of things to get you out of.
I've been seeing you guys do some of that.
Yeah, get you out of your seat, and because it's not, some of the best ways of learning is if you enjoy it. You need to enjoy it. I mean, it's not just crunching information. At some point, that becomes overload. So sometimes you just need to stop and enjoy it, rewind, and then come back.
Yeah.
And I've watched, Sebastian and I have both watched dozens of courses, and my honest opinion, like they're just lacking that. Like, it's just like from an experienced Amazon seller, it's even some of the basic stuff. And this is just full transparency. Like, it's just not all there. It's not all there. And then people put a really high price tag on it and it's frustrating because it's not all there, and it's disappointing. I haven't found one course yet that I would be excited about purchasing, even 4 years ago that I would have been excited about purchasing.
Interesting. So have you taken some of the more recent ones that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just bought them just to look at them, like competition wise?
I think really our issue is we find something or my issue specifically is I find something that's wrong and then it like ruins the whole thing for me. It's like, oh, this person, they didn't even, a lot of this 2 years of building this course was us researching, I lock myself in this exact room and I'm filming a video. It might take me 4.5 hours because for 2.5 hours, I'm learning everything I need to know, make sure that all the information's correct,
So when you talk about competition courses, are you talking about wholesale courses or private label courses or just courses in general?
Just Amazon courses in general.
Yeah, there's so much bullshit courses out there. Have you guys heard of CoffeeZilla on YouTube?
Great guy. calls out all the garbage courses. Yeah.
It is so funny. Have you heard of him, Sebastian? Have you seen him?
No,
this guy just like
you sent me one of his videos once.
I did.
Yeah,
maybe I did.
Yeah.
He calls out. He'll just like. I don't want to call anyone out, but I'll call out who he called out. I don't know if they're true or not. He did a really good one on. The Dan Locke one was pretty good just because he brought students who actually paid like $6,000 to go through the course, and he was like interviewing the student on how like just Dan was doing like weird shit, but he'll really tear some people. No, he got Stefan Palernos. You guys know who that is? Project Life Mastery.
No.
He tore him apart. So Stefan Palernos, he makes like a ton of different videos over from selling on Amazon to like making ebooks to just like staying in shape. He's like one of those guys. So he's got a pretty successful YouTube channel. Anyway, this kid does some research on him and finds out that he had his own course on how to make ebooks sell really good. And they were ebooks about like medical problems. And this kid did research on him and found out that this guy changed his name, and he was like claiming that he had cures for like post-traumatic stress disorder. He like had an ebook for like $20 that he was selling that he had a virtual assistant write, and the information in it was like bullshit, and he was using a fake name. And so he found that, and like CoffeeZilla, the guy that we're talking about right now, he's got a pretty big YouTube channel, and he called Stefan out. So like course creators now, like it's good that guys are out there that are like that, because they're cutting through all the bullshit that exists. Because it's, when it comes to marketing, you want people to see that you're successful. So when you're marketing, you don't want to necessarily be like, oh, the sales rank of this has to be like, you don't want to do that. It's going to turn people off. When it comes to marketing, like people make fun of the Lamborghinis, people make fun of that shit, but like that's what gets people excited. People want to take action and sell on Amazon and make fucking money. So like when you're doing the marketing side of it, you gotta get their attention. And I'm sure you guys have come up with some pretty creative ads. Have you guys shot ads yet at all?
Yeah, we got some ads in the books.
Yeah, we made some stuff coming soon.
Yeah, it's, when it comes to ads, you don't want to bore people with like the science of it.
No, it's got to be entertaining. It has to be entertaining. You know, I think we did ours a little bit differently than the ones we've seen recently. They're original, but it's really going to catch the eye. They're humor driven and but get to the point.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see those. Hopefully they'll come up on my feed.
Oh, they will.
We're going to make sure to spend enough, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, you know, there is CoffeeZilla and people like that are out there trying to do the right thing. But unfortunately, for most people, they don't spend enough time filtering before they buy a course. You know, impulsivity kicks in for a lot, and that's in general for consumers. I'll do the same thing. I'll buy a stupid pair of sneakers, and then a week later, I'm like, why did I get these? But that's just kind of like a lot of human nature is like that. You get this idea, you get this notion of, I got to sell on Amazon. I need a second income. Where do I find it? You read 10 good comments about it, you jump on it, and you miss that there's about 1,000 poor comments on it.
Oh shit, I'm seeing Facebook comments in here.
Let's hit them up.
Uh-oh. Facebook user says, what is the first product that Amazon Lit started wholesaling? You guys started with RA, if we're going to go way back, right?
Yeah, I think wholesale would be probably.
What was that, like?
What's the UPC? Can you guys?
Check that. What date was it exactly? You're gonna hop on the key for charge.
So the first product that we wholesaled, but it wasn't Amazon wholesale, was a product, hemp hearts. We don't sell them anymore, but it's like that hemp grain that you can cook and eat. And we sent it, I think, like 10 pallets to Philippines, and the poor guy got it stuck at the border because it said hemp on it, and they thought it was a legal drug, and it took them like 3 months to finally get it released, you know. But those hemp hearts is what the name of the brand is.
I don't know the first product. It was probably like a supplement or some sort of health food.
Well, RA would be Kirkland fish oil would be for RA, and then wholesale would be something from one of the box clubs when we first started buying from them wholesale.
Here's a good question. It's a more technical question. How to tell that I'm working with a legit distributor, as in they're authorized to sell a particular brand?
Ask them some questions. You know, ask them what their MOQ is. Ask them, you know, if their orders are FOB. Ask them what their return process is. Ask them what happens if a product's expired. What happens if a product's damaged. You know, ask them for a product catalog with UPCs, description, item numbers, case pack, pricing, any discounting. There's just a lot to ask somebody, and you should be able to get a gut feeling, really, if they're legitimate or not. And then also, don't go all in on the first order. If you've never done business with someone, Don't go spending, 15 grand on a first order. Maybe place like a $2,000 order, see the products, get to touch the products, feel the products, be the products, understand, that they're legitimate products and that they're not trying to knock you off.
And to get ungated, Ulysses, to get ungated, you need 10 to 15. That's it on your invoice. So why would you go higher than that if it's a brand new supplier that you're working with? Like Eric said, kind of feel them out. You don't need to go heavy. Just order 10 to 15 of a product you're trying to ungate, because that's, I guess, the reason you want authorization. Because there also are a lot of brands that don't require authorization. Some big brands, they just let you sell it because they're too busy dealing with brick and mortar that they don't really have time, believe it or not, to worry about Amazon sales. It's really a lot of the restrictions that you see, a majority. Now, there are some big brands, but a majority come from smaller players.
So do the smaller players, brand wise, so the brands, do they contact Amazon and say, hey, look, we don't want this available to all sellers. We want this to be restricted. How do they do that?
No, that's against Amazon policy. What they do is they break the law by claiming that it's a trademark infringement or a copyright infringement. And we've had discussions with this with numerous Amazon higher ups, and Amazon's making changes. So the pendulum swung from one side, where there were counterfeit products on Amazon back in 2011, 2012, a lot. And so they started allowing these restrictions to be put in place by brands. But that was supposed to be to actually restrict fake products. And a lot of brands are using that to create exclusivity, which is against Amazon's terms of services. So now it's just about trying to find a middle ground. And I slowly, surely see that. There's actually a few cases right now of Amazon sellers currently selling some big, suing some big brands like, what's that one? TP-Link, the router companies getting sued by Amazon seller from New York.
Wow. We've there's been a couple textbook guys talking about selling or suing. There's this law firm that's representing several publishers, and it's the whole reason why restrictedinventory.com exists. The same thing's happening with the textbook category. This law firm's purchasing textbooks. They're saying that they're fake, even if we don't know if they're fake or not. How are you going to prove if it's fake? Like, prove it to us that it's actually counterfeit. And that's why I created the service I did, because I partner with, because it's ticking time bomb. Because if someone's coming after your product, if someone's coming after the ASINs, eventually they're going to get you, because if Amazon's working off algorithm, right? So every time they put in a counterfeit claim or IP claim or whatever, eventually they're going to get your account suspended or gated. So that's why I partner with multiple people and I sell on their account and cut them a percent of the gross profits. But it's a game out there. It's it kind of sucks, but it's because there's the bullshit players. I feel like, at least for the textbooks, there's people shipping like pallets of books from India and sending those in. And obviously that's bullshit, because they're paying like $1 for each book and they're selling it for $300. But when it comes to these other categories, like, I don't know what brands you guys are dealing with, but is it super common for brands to be like counterfeit? Is that real, or is it?
I don't think I've ever seen a counterfeit wholesale product that we've gotten.
Oh no, yeah, it's not common. It's not common. No,
it's because if you think about it, it's literally the products we're selling are between $2 and7 a piece. To counterfeit, it's not like you're counterfeiting some high end.
Gotcha. That's why they counterfeits are so big. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna show you guys a counterfeit textbook real quick.
Yeah, sure. I'd love to see a counterfeit textbook. People are counterfeiting textbooks. That's amazing. College books.
Eat, sleep, Amazon. I think with Nike now stepping away, it's a huge opportunity to jump on the Nike bandwagon. I mean, we're even looking into, procuring more Nike wholesale. Just because,
win or something.
Excuse me.
They're letting more people sell Nike now because.
Well, yeah, because Nike kind of ended its partnership with Amazon that they started about 3 years ago. It wasn't working for them. They want to go direct to consumer. So now with that happening, Amazon's not going to be as restrictive, and Nike's just one of those big brands that really doesn't have the time to worry about, Amazon sellers. They're doing way too big sales to worry about Amazon sellers, and to get in the business. I'm sure the lawyers aren't going to let them get in the business of claiming counterfeits when they're not counterfeit, because they understand what that could do if that perjury could do in the long run.
Gotcha.
If we were to follow up and try to pursue it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like the textbook companies are reaching, because things like the economy crashing right now. It's like, how many kids are going to go to school and pay $300 for a textbook? The textbook companies, they're already suffering because it's just not ethical to make 13 editions of a book and charge the students that much. Like, it's fucking English. It's been fucking English for the last 20 years. You don't have to make 13 editions to teach basic English, but it's a business and it's how you make money. And, they can't keep making profit off of, like, when they sell the book once to the student, that's it for them. And then I come in and I resell it over and over and over. So, and I bring the used market value down. So, I mean, I empathize with them, and I see why they're reaching and why they're trying to, we think they're trying to kill the used book market. They're trying to come in and get as many resellers out as possible, raise the used market value high enough to where students start buying directly from the publisher again, or from Amazon, which buys from the publisher. So they'll start getting more sales. But I mean, people are being smarter with their money now. The economy, who knows how long it's going to crash for, but it's going down. And people are buying essential products from Amazon Lit. They're not buying textbooks, But here's what a counterfeit book looks like. So if you guys look at that, you guys can see that. You see that L on surgical?
It's very close to the edge.
It's like running off the page. So this guy from India, he hits me up on WhatsApp all the time. And he's like, he actually hit me up today. He was trying to sell me Germex today. He was like, hey, do you want some Germex? But he hit me up over the last couple of months, and he's always trying to sell me these books. And I was like, send me what you got. And this is a great example of a counterfeit. He sent me David Goggins' book as well. But yeah, there's like missing pages. Each page looks different. Some of the pages have bold text, some don't. But I mean, it probably cost him, I don't know how much it cost to make a book, like $3. And at a certain point in time, this was selling for over $100. So it's obvious how it's worth it if you can do it right from like a criminal perspective of shipping in these pallets and pallets of counterfeit books. Did you read the book Nike?
No.
That it's a great book. I have a lot of respect for that guy. He went through a lot. He had to deal with a lawsuit from the government because they were trying to sue him like $25 million, which was like 5 times what the company was worth at the time. And it had something to do with like he couldn't write off what he bought from Japan or something. So the government was trying to take way more than they should have, and they were being like ruthless with it. And it almost put Nike under, but that was like his biggest hurdle. It's a great book though. You guys should check it out.
Yeah, maybe I'll listen to it.
You don't read books? You just listen to them?
Listen to them. I'm preferably like 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't have time to read books anymore in my life. Our lives are so busy. I do the same thing either while working or a lot in my car, and same thing at 1.5 speed. I could go through a lot more books that way, Plus, I like to also listen to Blink too in the morning. Kind of just go through a book in 15 minutes on my way to work, get the important parts of it. Just allows me to get more information.
It's called what?
Blinkist.
Okay, and is that like where it summarizes the book for you?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. In about 15 minutes, I'll go through the book and the important parts of the book.
I've gotten to the point where, I mean, I don't have a family and I've been quarantined. I've gotten to the point, I used to not like reading books. I used to only listen to them, but I used to be in thrift stores a lot. And I always tell people if they're going out and they're just starting arbitrage, like listen to as many podcasts and books as you can while you're going out and scanning, because that's free education.
Yep.
You know, you can be hustling and learning at the same time. But now I have to sit down and read for like at least 30 minutes a day. Rakin has all these books, like all these crazy self-help books. I have a lot of books that I want to read, and it's just like, it's super calming to me. And I'm just like you guys, you know, working all the time, and it's kind of like my break almost. I do that, and I salsa dance.
It's nice.
Yeah.
What do you guys do to blow off steam? Do you guys ever just like get in such a high gear where it's just like you need something else to do? Like you can't turn your brain off at night? Does that ever happen to you guys? We're just like running?
No, I can't speak for Sebastian, but like if I'm like, all right, it's time to go to bed, I put my head on the pillow and in 30 seconds I'm sleeping. And that's like consistently for years. Just because my mind's always moving anyway, I could just shut it off.
What about you, Sebastian?
I'm the same way. I think we just work a lot. You know, I probably get about 5 hours of sleep, but it's the sleep that I need.
Gotcha.
So when it's time, I just pass out and then I get up and it's right back to it again. You know, and plus I got a large family. I have 4 kids, so you know I'm busy. But like Sundays right now is kind of wind down where we're going for walks and stuff and just, you know, able to slow down. So
Gotcha.
that's what my Sundays are for, is time with them. And once this ends, then it'll be back to nights and Sundays and mornings, so of wind down time. And then
are you able to completely dissociate yourself from the business on those Sundays when you go out? Are you able to just not think about it at all?
Yeah, it's so great when I do. So I am able to do that when I'm with them. And it was a struggle for a while, and I listened to Jim Rohn, and he talked about being at work and thinking about the beach, and being at the beach and thinking about work. And I found myself there about like 2 years ago, where that's where I was. And so I worked hard to change that, because that would happen to me, where I found myself with she's 11 now, but you know, she was like 9 at the time, and she's telling me a story and I'm checking my emails, and I was like, God damn, what am I doing? So, you know, I just try to be more vigilant and mindful when I'm around them.
Yeah, that's huge. That's inspiring, because I want to have 5 kids, and right now, the way my brain's operating and the way I'm working, it's like I know I would be dissociated from them. Like I have trouble calling my parents sometimes. I actually wrote that down on my goals list, is to call my parents more often, because I'll just get so absorbed in work that I'll forget to do those things.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's easy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you seem more laid back, Eric. You guys can see you on spring break on the beach, not even thinking about anything, and then go back to it. And it's good to have that switch where you can just turn it on, because otherwise you get burned out while you're on the beach, and you come back and it's like you didn't even do anything on the beach. You were just thinking about it. Like you wasted that mental effort for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does take some effort. I mean, I can't just say for me it's like a switch. Like if I find myself like 3-4 days off, then that first day back at work might be a little bit, you know, I got to get the gears going again, or vice versa. If I'm working the way I'm working now, it's a little bit harder for me to turn it off. You know, you got to go into a neutral state and then finally slow it fully down. But it's difficult.
Oh, here's an interesting comment. I want to hear your guys' take on this. I know a service that's pretty cheap. I got ungated in Nike. What do you guys think about these ungating services?
I think I used one 4 or 5 years ago for topical. That's when they first started gating things, and I had no idea they wanted some sort of documentation certification that I couldn't get. It works for me. You know, I can't knock it if it works. I can't knock it, but there's a risk with it. Just be realistic that there's a risk with everything. So,
and the risk with this is that they would put in like a fake invoice or something. That's the risk.
I guess so. Yeah, they'd have to, right? Unless the service is providing you a real invoice and you're purchasing real product. I don't know, but yeah, it's a risk. I mean, if you get caught, that's the end of your account, definitely.
Yeah. Unless you have 15 accounts.
Yeah, then that's the end of your 15th account.
I can
14 more to go.
how are you supposed to grow 15 accounts? Like just even focusing on the one account we have, it takes up all of our time.
It's a different model, though. I mean, with VAs, and I mean, imagine if we had one person here in our staff focusing on one smaller account. It could be done, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would actually reach out to people that weren't Amazon sellers at all. He would get he broke this all down on YouTube. He would get them to set up a business, set up an Amazon account, and then he would get them ungated and whatever it needed to be ungated in. And yeah, he got his account shut down from the get-go, like right when he had success. So he kind of had a bitter taste in his mouth as far as working with Amazon. He wanted to diversify his income stream coming from Amazon. It's still one income stream, but he wanted to chop it up into 15. So
he went to the other extreme.
Plus, I mean, he's got to have different accounts, I think, to sell internationally, but you can sell internationally and not have.
No, every account. I mean, so if that's the case, then we have 9 accounts. I mean, if that's the case, I thought he had one domestic, but for every international account to sell.
Domestic accounts, but he said 15 accounts. I'm not sure if he's counting like one account that sells in Colombia as 2 accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Are they connected? Like if you get one account shut down, it still is going to shut down the international account, right?
No, every if it's international accounts, every account is separate.
Oh, okay.
So even though if we click the drop down and we could choose which one we want to look at through one Seller Central, they're all separate. Meaning if like right now our Germany one is shut down because we need to provide some VAT information, it doesn't affect any of the other ones.
Okay, that's good to know. We got a good COVID question. What can we wholesalers do to maximize our returns in the light of COVID-19? I'm selling toys like crazy right now, but I think the economy is going to take a while to come back.
Maximize our returns.
Efficiencies, I'm guessing.
Well, returns as in money or returns as in product?
Money. I guess money, right?
I think you're saying returns.
Money.
Yeah. I don't think he's talking about maximizing returns.
Because we don't want to do that. Whatever.
As many times as he can.
So there's if you're specifically an Amazon business, there's wholesale options in Amazon through their advertising tab where you can actually offer, if your concern is having too much inventory sitting around, you can offer if they buy 5 units at once, they get a 7% discount, 10% discount. So you can incentivize customers to buy more. So then you could bring that inventory in and use it for some other way of growing your revenue. Also,
he says I send my returns to Romer. Appreciate that, dog.
Also, something like right now, about 2% of our orders are getting canceled. So it comes in, it registers as an order, and then the customer is canceling it because of the larger shipping times. But what I would recommend to this gentleman is diversifying his business, back to those multiple legs of the table that we talked about. Like if your business isn't sustainable, it's just toys, then I just had at 7 o'clock before this, I had a consultation with one of our clients, and I was telling him the exact same thing. Like, you got to be in all the categories. Why are you restricting yourself to one category? I want to make a little money in all the categories. And if that was the case for this gentleman, if he was eating a little bit in each category, then this wouldn't be as big as the concern. So it's not too late to get started. It's not like all doom here. It's not too late. You can get started tomorrow selling in the other categories.
Yeah. My mentor, Caleb Roth, he says you want to dabble in as many corners of your marketplace as possible. Mm-hmm. And this analogy is really good for resellers. And here I'm breaking down the fourth wall again when it comes to selling courses and stuff. Breaking down the fourth wall, I mean, I was in theater. You guys know what that means? Breaking down the fourth wall. It's like you talk to the audience. So you're on stage and you're acting, but then you acknowledge the audience. So like I'm acknowledging the people that are going to buy my course. But dabbling in multiple corners of the same market, it's the whole selling shovels during a gold rush. If you're selling shovels, that means you're selling the course during a gold rush. But you guys, what is so cool about Amazon Lit, you guys are about to have a course that you're going to make money on. You guys are actually establishing deals as wholesalers where you're wholesaling to other people. That's super cool. So you guys are dabbling as the supplier of both products and information to Amazon sellers, but then you're also a seller on Amazon as well to the consumer. So you guys are in about 3 corners of the market. So if it ever gets oversaturated, your wholesale business to the Amazon sellers is going to dramatically increase because now there's more Amazon sellers. But then you're going to have more competition on Amazon. So that would tank, if too many people enter Amazon. So it's like you're protecting yourself by stretching yourself into multiple corners. And I think that's it's really good advice, but it's harder to really implement because you have to focus your energy on the different corners and growing those. But it's super cool when one brand can do all that. And that's kind of what Amazon Lit's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the course, anybody who signs up for the course is going to get 10% off our entire wholesale catalog for an entire year.
It complements. That's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, so they're gonna be able to not only use the information we're providing them, but then also purchase product and get really started in the right direction. They are different forms of, they are different businesses. They're all separate, different entities, but they all complement each other.
Yeah, the furthest extent I've done lots of business with my following and even mentors of mine, but it's usually like one-time deals. Bookstores closing. A bookstore just closed in Maine. If anyone's listening to this, there's a bookstore in Maine that just closed. There's gonna be lots of bookstores closing. And what I would do is I would call up the bookstore, facilitate the deal, be like, hey, look, I'm going to come in and get the books. And then I would get one of my followers to go and I would just take a portion of the profits and vice versa. Sometimes, someone else would do that. And I'd be like, oh shit, like there's that many books at that store and it's right down the road for me. And you already set up the deal. Like, cool, let's do it. But it's super cool that you're able to actually like you're building trust on so many levels. Like if the course is good, it delivers the information, then they get to actually do business with you at a 10% discount. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that was that's why we've been working on it for 2 years. Did
you guys plan that? Like, or did these just kind of opportunities come up? Like, obviously the course opportunity, I think most people think about that when they think of producing content, the opportunity to make a course. But was the wholesaling thing something you guys even thought about, like wholesaling to Amazon sellers, or that just arise when your following arose? You're like, oh shit, we could do this.
Just kind of happened, right? Like, when did we start the business? A year ago?
Yeah, but we talked about, the bridge. We talked about connecting the bridge, but yeah, it was definitely. So first thing that came was Amazon Lit as a Amazon seller. Then next came, building the social media following. And then after that, Eric just mentioned, the fact that, hey, we work with about 40 distributors. And in total, we might touch about 5% of their products, maybe 5% of all the products that we could procure, just because, there's only so much funding that we have. I mean, this would be hundreds of millions of dollars it would cost if we were to pick up every one of the products that they carry from all our distributors. So we said, here's an opportunity for the products that we don't sell, but are still, we know can still sell very well on Amazon. We will add these to the list, and then we make sure to remove it from the list that we supply to our buyers, so there's no conflict of interest. You'll never see us on a listing of a product that we wholesale.
Interesting.
Yeah, because
that's just bad for business.
That would cause problems, and then we're not growing a wholesale business. Then what are we doing here?
Right.
So, and there's 3, like Eric said, they're 3 completely separate entities. They're their own LLPs or S corps, depending on which one you're looking at, and so they all want to be profitable, and we keep that in mind.
Do you, when it comes to store names, do you guys have like an idea of your competitors? You're like, oh, there's that asshole again on the listing. Do you guys like have people that you know of and you kind of like understand their repricing strategies?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we've been seeing these same guys for years. So yeah, we know the ones that will kind of. There are certain people I could think of that they sell at a higher price with less products, and they wait for everyone to go out of stock, and then they'll sell theirs, and they'll sell it at a premium. Or there's others that we know that just lowball the price, but they're all about volume. So, and same guys we've seen for years. So, we know how they're going to treat the market of the listing that we're on.
You guys have all your custom software for repricing?
Yes.
When it comes to that custom software, is it pretty, I guess if it's custom, do you guys scrape Amazon at all? Or is Amazon's API enough to really just give you enough information to make repricing? Because you guys, the problem that booksellers run into is we got 40 people on one listing, and 5 of them are FBA guys, but the 5 FBA guys tend to be towards the higher prices. So when we plug in rules for the repricer, it's Amazon's API only shows us the lowest 15. So we're not even able to see the top 5 guys. But with wholesale, this is the way I'm in visualizing it, is there's like 5 people on a listing and that's it.
No, there's more, and there are ways you could see it too. I mean, we could talk about that. We could talk about that at a later time if you want to get on a call or something. We could definitely tell you more about, because there's ways you could see who's got the buy box percentage they have. Amazon provides that information.
Okay.
The Amazon does provide that information.
Talk about that, because I'm actually, as part of my course, I'm really looking at my own repricing process right now, and I'm not super satisfied with it in terms of like advocating it to the whole reselling community. So I'm trying to fine tune that. And one of the tools I'm making is, because I use Reprice It. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
So I use New Price, which combats the whole hiding prime offers from us. We're able to actually look at all the prime offers, but it's manual. That's a problem with that. So we do that the first 60 days. Then we use Reprice It, which is a repricer. But the tool I'm making, I want it to be able to dispose inventory when the price tanks at a price that if we sold it, we'd lose more money than just throwing away the book. But I was also looking at it, and there's some pretty cool stuff we can do to where if the buy box matches the low merchant price, that means there's no prime offers. And if there's no prime offers, why the hell would we price it at the buy box price? We should be pricing it 20, 30, 50% higher. So that report that you were just talking about, like what percent someone owns the buy box, it's not as important for us, but that'd still be cool information to know. I'm sure there's a lot of other cool stuff you're doing that I don't know about, but yeah.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Let's see. Manzu's coming back in. He says, I was actually doing that today, search to see all the categories I can sell into today. How do you get brand exclusivity?
You have to work directly with the brand, and they have to be willing to give you a price that's substantially lower than anyone else could purchase it for, which is going to be difficult if the brand works with distributors, because for them to give you a price that's lower than their distributors that are buying maybe tens of thousands of that product, and they probably have a contractual agreement with that distributor, depending on how big the brand is. If it's a small brand and they might not even work with distributors, then you just have to ask for it. But just know that it is in Amazon's terms of services that they don't, there's nothing that is abiding for them to give you that exclusivity. So you can't say to Amazon, you can't contact Amazon and say, hey, so-and-so jumped on this list, but I have brand exclusivity with this. They don't vouch for that. Yeah. And that's why people do all those other things that are unethical, and I wouldn't recommend doing too, like claiming another seller selling counterfeit when they're not.
Like in the story I posted today, I talked about this company that we just got. It's like a multi-billion-dollar company, and they made us their Amazon partner, right? But that doesn't mean like we're exclusive to them. But I know that's what it means, because we have the best pricing. So even if someone else was to try to compete, they would have to be priced higher than us unless they were losing money, and they can't sustain those sales losing money. So that's what makes us their exclusive seller, is the ability to get their goods at the lowest price possible.
Right. And so other sellers might jump on, and we're not going to do anything to them. We'll let them sell because we know they're going to sell this one time, and once they see what comes back to their pockets, they're never going to sell on it again because they're not going to make money.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So wholesale kind of has that momentum effect where the longer you're in the game and the bigger you get, the more leverage you have because there becomes more barriers. Not barriers to entry, but barriers to profit in terms of you get exclusivity via lower prices. You're providing more value to the suppliers because you're able to do things for them, which is buying more goods more often, which that provides massive value to them because that's what they want. Whereas a smaller seller is just kind of, it's almost like they're being pesky because it's like, oh yeah, I deal with this person again, and they're only going to buy from us once a year. So,
well, it kind of goes back to what you said earlier about branding. So it's very difficult, like you said, in wholesale to brand yourself on Amazon.
yes.
So what we do is we brand ourselves to our suppliers, whether it be the relationships that we've established through phone calls we make, dinners we have with them, going to trade shows, knowing them through the years, the money that, yes, we're bringing them because we purchase in volume, and also the value that we bring when they come to our establishment here and they see the way that we care for the product, that we care for their customer, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how it's sold. At the end of the day, it's their product that's going into the customer's hand, so they want to make sure that it's being handled correctly. So by doing that, that's how we're branding ourselves to all of these suppliers and why we're constantly picking up new suppliers.
Does the branding affect, obviously you have the reputation and maybe a little bit of word of mouth. Is that like to the extent of your brand with the suppliers, or is there any way that your brand can actually exist like where they search and find maybe a website of yours or maybe some type of social media, like, you know what I mean? Like it's more of like almost like a cold lead where they didn't hear about you from one supplier that you did a really good job with. They heard it, they see like almost like a Yelp review type brand where they know that you're legit because of your website or social media. Is there that aspect of the brand? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we do have a website, but I think a lot of it has to do with the networking.
Gotcha.
And when you go to a trade show with, thousands of exhibitors and, a good portion of them already know you can use them as references.
Gotcha.
And then that keeps growing. That's just like this snowball effect that keeps growing.
Yeah, we immerse ourselves really in the whole network of the industry, and travel the country frequently and meet with these people, and
Gotcha.
It's changed our entire business. Because
the beauty of your Instagram page is you built credibility immediately with me. Because I think you used a tag. Actually, I remember exactly how it happened. Use a hashtag FBA, and I think you were like in a warehouse talking about something. I was like, who the fuck is this dude? And because I saw how many likes you got or views or something, I was like, what is he talking about? And then I clicked on your page. I was like, Amazon lit, and I saw the sales. And when I saw the sales, I was like, oh shit. And I followed immediately, and my brain was like instant credibility, like to them. So the credibility was built like that. And that's awesome when it can happen like that. But seems like with the distributors, it's got to be the word of mouth. It's got to be the reputation. Like, don't deal with those guys, that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like almost like that. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more, and we have that aspect in the Instagram reselling space as well, because if you ever fuck someone over in the community, everybody's going to hear about it. You guys launched the course and it sucks, everybody's going to hear about it. It's how it is. Yeah
Agreed. And it's the same way with suppliers. I mean, especially you're going to trade shows. A lot of these trade shows aren't general merchandise. They're specific to a certain category, and they know each other. A lot of these people have worked for other companies there that, I think this new company that we got, you met that gentleman, he worked for another company, right, at the time? And now
2 years ago, I met this guy.
And now, and so Eric's known him for about 2 years, and now we're working with a multi-billion-dollar international company. So it's, and that guy was working at another company at the time, but he brought us up, a word of mouth, to his new CEO, and we got in the doors. It took a couple months, but now we're kind of moving along very fast.
Yeah, we just placed a lot
more exciting the more I hear about it. It's like I want to get into it. I'm about to take your course. You guys gonna do an affiliate program?
Oh, what? Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
You want in?
Yeah, hell yeah. I'll put the affiliate link under this video if you guys are watching this and it's after they launch it, which you said you're launching it May?
May.
Yeah, so if it's June and you're watching this video, affiliate links below. You better be getting a 50% cut at least.
Yeah, I might get your roommate up on it too.
Oh yeah, well you'll have to convince him because you know who he's working with.
Yeah. So that's another talk.
Yeah, that'd be because that's where speaking of brand, that's a whole nother brand issue. It's like, what if he just switches like that to someone else? That's it's like what's he doing? So we'll sit down. We'll have that talk. I'll be your.
Yeah. Maybe after all this calms down, I could use a Miami trip. So
you guys need to come down here. I'm sure you guys have seen my place, but this is a fucking gorgeous view here. And I would like to. I want to start. My goal was to interview people in this room, but now I'm having to do all these virtual interviews, which actually I'm glad that I finally pulled the trigger on virtual interviews because it's so easy. Like I meet you guys right here, and it's about to be over, and it's done. Versus before when I interviewed you guys the first time, it's awesome being there with you guys, but it's a lot more work. But I do want to have this set up because we have an awesome view. We want to do like masterminds here, podcast. We could shoot a lot of content up here, and we should be. So you guys should definitely come down, and we could maybe plan some type of mastermind. We could make it something unique, maybe just like social media guys. Or just a unique combination of people.
I think everybody. You just invite everybody who wants to attend, and you just do it. It's just like whoever's interested, excited about it. Whoever wants to come network, hang out. It's completely free. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, I'm down. I've been hanging out with a lot of guys that are really good at shooting courses and selling courses. And I've learned so much from them when it comes to marketing. And I've discovered how much I've been slacking on the marketing side of just business. Like I've been so stupid with so many, like even my YouTube channel. It's like, I should be optimizing so many. I just optimized my thumbnails recently. And I have a virtual assistant doing it now. And it was such an easy system to put in place. Like these little things that the course guys do, like they make sure they have testimonials, like they understand marketing so well. And a lot of times as an Amazon seller, I take that for granted because Amazon did all that for me. I hopped on a listing that already existed and I'm selling it. They already have the sales velocity. Like I'm just doing the groundwork of finding the book. But even when it comes to finding the books, we have suppliers too, like the resellers who are really doing this right. They're building relationships with the libraries, thrift stores, colleges, in my case, other resellers. You're focusing on replenishable sources, ways to get sources time and time again. So yeah. Got excited there. I was going down a little rabbit hole.
No, it's so true. I mean, we understand the value of marketing and like you said, how we established credibility with you early on, and then we've also, if you go to AmazonLit.com, you'll see we have testimonials there. We have information that really
I'm gonna
gravitates. Yeah, definitely check it out, and it hopefully gravitates to those people who sell on Amazon or want to. Because it establishes our credibility and lets them know that, hey, if they really want to learn some important information about how to grow more than just sales on Amazon, but an actual successful business on Amazon, they're going to follow us.
Hell yeah, I'm going to follow you guys. I'm saying course wise.
Oh yeah.
But the thing about me, like because I actually do want to learn more about either private label or wholesale. Like I'm on the fence. But when I do make that switch, I want to make sure I have a lot of money in my bank account, like several months planned out to where I could just like sit down and learn it. I would want to just accelerate my learning curve.
Yeah. Well, then listen, ours is going to have both, so you don't have to choose.
Yeah.
It's private label, wholesale. It's going to everything we know about Amazon.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you gonna market it separately as private label versus wholesale, like when you run ads?
It's all with ads, yeah, but we're gonna let them know that it's everything. I mean, we have three successful private label brands, over 200 private label listings, so we know what we're doing.
You said you have how many successful?
3 private label brands and over 200 listings.
Yeah, 200 listings.
What does that mean? Okay, I'm kind of confused on that.
ASINs, 200 different private ASINs, private label.
So
successful brands mean? What's it? The brands have multiple ASINs. Okay.
Yeah, multiple SKUs, so different sizes, colors, whatever it is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Styles.
Makes sense. Well, all right, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on. Obviously, everybody can find you at Amazon Lit. I feel like we've given a lot of information out about you. I'll link your Instagram below. I'll put your website. It's just amazonlit.com, no underscore or anything.
Just amazonlit.com.
Great. And you guys have a Facebook group active?
YouTube. You could do our YouTube. It's we do have a Facebook group. It's a good question. What it is, though.
In there as well. And
Yeah, we'll put our YouTube. Yeah,
Facebook.
definitely slap our YouTube down there.
Amazon Lit 1.
Oh, that's Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon Lit 1.
Oh, there's another Amazon Lit.
Yeah, can you believe that? It fucking got me so mad. So mad.
It's like some little kids too, right?
Yeah, I think they posted one time. It's like, come on, give it to us already.
All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Go check out restrictedinventory.com.
Grind hard, well done, sir, and welcome to.
Much love, guys. Catch you on the podcast.
Roll, bro. Appreciate your time, brother.